Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
Welcome to another episode, Nerds Amalgamated. How's it going there, Professor?
Hello.
You been good these last few weeks?
Yep.
Feeling
Apart
better?
from losing my voice and going camping and having the waterproofing on my tent fail.
Yes, you were telling me about that. And I was like, oh, damn. What the hell happened?
I have no idea why it happened.
But
my tent was fine last time I used it.
Must be a sign from the universe going, get a new tent, Professor. Get a new tent. So how much is that gonna cost you?
I have no idea. I haven't even started looking. I'm gonna try resealing the tent first.
Uh-huh. Damn. I've been having an interesting time. Besides being swamped with work, I've just been watching crazy ASMR videos and medical marvels, and yeah, that's a whole crazy event. I see some of the barbershop ASMR videos, and I'm just going, man, those. If this was to be held in any Western country, there'd be health code violations up the wazoo. How do they get away with it? Lord knows.
Probably because they don't have as many health codes in other countries.
Uh-huh. I saw, it was people just rubbing ears, doing flappy things on other people's ears, and stretching their ears and stretching eyelids and all the other stuff. And I'm going, what the hell you can't do that to a person here. That's like assault. Oh man, there's some crazy people out there, and that's 2.5 million views on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah.
That's just wild to me. Anyways, so this week we'll be talking about the death of Xbox via 1,000 cuts. Can you sleep through a trip to Mars? And George Lucas now loving AI to the point he's kissing their boots. So, Professor, on to our first topic about the death of Xbox.
Yeah, well, you probably heard about all of the layoffs they've been doing at Xbox recently.
Yeah, Sharma's been going crazy about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see whether this is just following the industry trend of firing everyone, or if it's actually gonna clear out some of the dead weight and let them good games. Because part of the announcement, right after they fired all these people, they announced that Obsidian are working on a new Fallout game, and Bethesda had to announce that they're also working on a new Fallout game.
What? So two companies, one IP. Who wins? Who releases early wins?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, New Vegas came out a couple of years after Fallout 3, and a lot of people consider New Vegas to be the best of the outs.
So what's the final number so far? What's the number so far in terms of how many people have been laid off?
It's hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah, I've been seeing some articles are saying 32,000. BBC was saying 48,000 jobs. No, 48,000, 4,800. Sorry, 4,800 jobs have been fired. With 1,600 being Xbox related. Xbox employees and another 1,600 gaming related positions as well. So it's
Yeah, so unfortunately, a lot of the AA studios that work under the Xbox brand, like Double Fine and Ninja Theory, are being spun off as part of the restructuring.
yeah.
And at the same time, we're also seeing it become increasingly hard to sell consoles because the price of hardware has gone up so much. So that while they're trying to turn around their game development side, The question is whether they can turn around hardware sales side. They're planning on doing that by firing a bunch of people, actually releasing a few games that people are really hyped for, and bringing back console exclusives. Which is interesting considering Halo Combat Campaign Evolved just launched on PlayStation.
Yeah. And I've seen I've seen some interesting reviews on that on Steam. Like some are rating it 3 stars and whatnot. So
The only
even
negative thing I've seen about it is people complaining that Cortana isn't hot enough,
I'm seeing an
which is
article.
the most bullshit complaint ever.
Someone that I saw just this morning. I'm just seeing actually this morning. Someone said someone the game's been cracked before launch.
Oh dear.
Oh, I know, I know. But what's interesting is there was a couple of memos that have been released in relation to the firings from not just Xbox but Microsoft. And one of the quotes they were saying here, our business is not healthy. Our business today is not healthy.
Yeah, the games industry isn't in a very good place right now.
Hmm?
I don't know how anyone who gets fired from the industry in one of these restructurings finds another job in the industry either. Because nobody is hiring. It's all just firing hundreds of people from every company all at the same time.
You were saying about teams and studios. So do you have the complete list of which teams and studios are being affected? Because you said Obsidian and Bethesda were affected.
Basically, every studio under Microsoft's ownership has been affected. So Bethesda, ZeniMax, Obsidian, the smaller ones that are being sold,
A second.
nowhere is safe.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Someone made a list. So it's Double Fine Production, Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, Alpha Dog Games, Obsidian, Arcane Leon, id Software, and Bethesda and ZeniMax. Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically everyone.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone not on that list, it wouldn't surprise me to see them be restructured soon.
Yeah, and you were saying how the couple of games have been released in relation to the cuts. Even id Software released the newest Doom game as well.
Yep.
That came out as well, and I was like, wow! It took you that moment to make you release your game. That is wild.
What are you talking about? Doom Eternal came out a year ago.
No, there was a newest one.
I mean,
The
not Dark Ages. That still came out a year ago.
Yeah, and Revelations just came out just this week. Yeah.
Doom Revelations?
Yeah,
I
Dark.
haven't heard anything about that.
No, the Doom Dark Ages Revelations. That's the newest expansion.
Okay. So, yeah, it's always been the case that a lot of people are let go after a game is released. And that's what unions have been fighting against. But the what we're seeing at the moment is something I don't think I've seen before, which is where even the games that do incredibly well still lead to everyone being fired.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how you find a new job in the industry because everyone is downsizing right now.
Do you reckon what Microsoft did in terms of buying too many studios was it's the reason why it's in its current position that current state now?
No, because it's not just Microsoft that's downsizing. It's also basically everyone is. So I think it's just that the industry is at a point where developing games is insanely expensive and they have to make that money back.
Yeah,
And at the same time, like most industries, they're captured by people who are trying to maximize profitability. And paying salary for doesn't make you profitable.
yeah. So you were saying about the state of gaming. So are we entering a gaming industry crash similar to the dot-com bubble at this point, or you reckon it's way worse?
Uh, well, I don't know if I'd call it a gaming industry crash because it's sort of a tech industry bubble. A lot of tech companies are really doing really well at the moment by trying to stuff AI into everything. So they're
Yeah.
firing all of their junior staff and just getting the senior staff to babysit the LLMs.
Yeah, I've been Asha Sharma, the CEO. She's been pushing for AI very vehemently the last few weeks.
Yeah, so I think if there is a gaming industry crash, it'll happen at the same time as the rest of the tech industry crashes.
Yeah.
And considering the value of the companies that will crash if the AI stuff does end up being a bubble, I don't see how the rest of the economy comes out of that one okay. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm not an economist, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, with the companies using AI, like, do you reckon those companies using the AI, are they using it as a genuine innovation tool, or is it just an to cut the cost? Do you reckon?
It's an excuse to cut the cost because what is the AI doing that a human?
I mean, from a basic level, like, it's just creating content. It's just
Yeah, and why
saying,
can't a human do it? Even like if you tell an AI make these characters look like Muppets, a human could do that. I don't think there's anything that these LLMs are doing that can be considered. There's a few things they might be okay at that are doing faster than humans, like
yeah,
translations seem a field that they're okay at. But the LLMs aren't creating new content, they're just remixing older content that's been fed into. So why can't a human do what the LLM is doing?
I think
It's
it's
just that you don't have to feed an LLM. You can get an LLM to do, I won't say it's more productive because you still have to check and make sure that it's not making mistakes.
yeah,
But people think that it is faster than having a human.
yeah. That's what I'm
So
guessing too.
yeah, in a few cases, it can produce well, in a lot of cases, it can produce a product in less time than I think where a lot of people are going to get caught out is when it comes to maintaining that product.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the way the LLMs work, they don't understand the work they've done. So you'll end up with these great big code bases that are all written by LLM and nobody who actually understands them because not even the LLM can understand them properly. And then how do you maintain it? How do you make changes and upgrades? And the companies making the LLMs want you to believe that you can replace people with an LLM because it's cheaper. But there's two things going on there. They're subsidizing the replacement of people because I doubt the cost that they're charging is anywhere near what it actually costs to run these systems. And the other thing is, I've seen people say that they use agentic AI and they have one thing that makes the code and another that reads the code and checks for errors and another that looks
oh
for security
yeah.
vulnerabilities. Well, that's three agents on that operating on the same piece of work, which means, three times the cost, three times the water usage, three times the energy usage.
Okay, but
So
okay, but
you
here's
got
the
to
thing
compare
though.
that with the human.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But the problem with when it comes to like I think the reason why I agree with you in the terms of it's an excuse to cut the cost. But I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Okay, the reason why people would just rely on AI more now than just using humans is because they want to eliminate as many mistakes as possible, and they don't they and they're at a point right now. You're like, I can't trust a human to do this Q&A, to do this Q quality control. That's the word. Yeah.
Can
So
you
they're now
trust an LLM to do quality control?
that's the problem. That's like
You
I said.
can't.
Yeah. You can't trust them to do you can't trust them to do uh quality control using an LLM. That's the problem. Unless if you want to use the LLM and program it to a point where it's impossible to make mistakes.
Which you can't.
Yeah.
Because the way they're designed, you can't get a deterministic output. Every time you can ask it the exact same question twice or 100 times, you'll get 100 different answers.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
LLMs aren't designed to be deterministic, they can't be used for quality assurance because they'll give you different results each time. And from reading about people who use LLMs apparently a common failure is that they're doing what they call test-driven development, which is where you write tests that the software has to pass, and then you tell the LLM generate the code that will pass these tests. Well, it either hard codes it to pass the test and breaks if you try to feed it any like actual data that isn't from the test question, or they delete the test and go solved. Now, I could see a use for machine learning in quality assurance, but LLMs are a particular subset of machine learning that is very good at generating text, not so good at quality assurance stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that for some reason, since LLMs are so good at generating text, suddenly everyone has forgotten there are other ways to do this that might be better. So yeah, it's when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Oh yeah. But that
Except in
depends.
this case, the hammer is an LLM.
Yeah, how big of a hammer is that thing? I think that hammer is becoming as big as a sledgehammer.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to use screws, and a hammer isn't very good at screwing.
Yeah. Okay, that said though, with LLMs being used by companies, well, okay, not okay, AI being used in companies, could AI create more games but with fewer game developers since the industry is going to that direction?
Well, that's the great hope of the people who run the studios. They're hoping that the LLM will be cheaper than having 1,000 developers.
Yeah. That's also the other question. Like, will the future of gaming be made with fewer people using better tools? But what's going to be interesting with how Microsoft is going through this sort of enormous restructure, can this company be successful financially but fail culturally, Professor?
That's a tricky question because, like, obviously, Marvel is a huge cultural touch point these days,
Yeah.
and they make bucket loads of money. So, whatever you argue about the quality of Marvel, you can't say that it's not a massive cultural touch point because everybody knows Marvel these days.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that. Okay.
So,
I mean,
yeah, I don't know if you can be financially successful and not be a massive cultural touch point. You can be low quality cultural touch point, but yeah, you can't make that much money without everyone knowing about you.
yeah, but then what Microsoft see comparing Microsoft and Marvel, like it's interesting you mentioned that because both Microsoft and Marvel have the money, the studios, the IP, and millions of fans, and well, I would say I'm not sure whether Marvel has the infrastructure compared to Microsoft, but what's interesting is Marvel hasn't said what Microsoft has said in terms of the business isn't healthy. And I think that's a very interesting tell-all, like in terms of the emotional connection. Like you haven't seen Marvel go like, okay, we've made some mistakes.
Haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's only just actually now when I think about it, only just recently Kevin Feige has come out basically saying like, yeah, we've made some mistakes, guys. We'll try and fix it, and they haven't really fixed it. But Microsoft
Yeah,
is
they're
going to be,
losing their relevance.
yeah,
They're still financially successful, but they're far less culturally relevant than they were 5 years. Star
but
Wars has been around a long time and is a huge cultural touch point. Everyone knows Darth Vader is Luke's father,
yeah.
but the most recent Star Wars movie content up until I don't really follow Star Wars, so I might
The
be missing something here. But up
up until
until
The Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. Up until Mandalorian, Star Wars wasn't doing the greatest in the last few years.
Yeah.
Sure, the sequels were financial successes, I think, but the TV shows weren't as popular. I don't know as many people who watch the TV shows as saw the sequel movies.
Yeah. Like the only good Star Wars show that's been out is the Andor series, and that ended. So now everyone's wondering what the hell do we watch now?
Yeah, so I think that could be a case where they're still culturally a huge thing, but they're not financially a huge thing. But even
But
then, that's still a huge thing because it's still Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's interesting you mentioned about like with the movies, with the movies and how it's being controlled by a
Oh,
giant
here we go,
corporation.
actually.
Oh,
I've just come up with an example of a cultural failure but financial success.
yeah.
James Cameron's Avatar. I know
Oh,
people who
yeah.
have watched it, but I don't know anyone who could really tell you about it. People go to watch it for the pretty colors and the 3D effects and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a cultural touch point like Marvel is.
Yeah.
And it makes bucket loads of money because people want to go and see the next big thing in CGI. But yeah, who can tell you what happens in those movies?
No one. Yeah, you're right. No one can tell you like what happens, like what happens to Navi and all that stuff. Like nobody can tell you that.
Yeah, they're the thinnest possible skin on top of a bunch of pretty CGI, and that's what's getting people out there. But you don't hear people discussing it. There's nobody coming up with theories about it.
Nah, nah.
Even like Doctor Who hasn't been doing great commercially last half a decade, maybe a bit longer.
Mhm.
But I still see lots of people discussing it and talking about it and, discussing its future. I don't see that for James Cameron's Avatar.
Nah. Unless there's like the only time you will hear that sort of discussion is when a new Avatar movie trailer comes out. Then you will
Yeah,
hear the discussion in the comments and the Reddit boards and the Facebook sections and all the places you can think, all social media, basic.
yeah, but it doesn't stick around.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
think that's an example of something that is culturally a failure, but financially hugely successful.
yeah.
And on the opposite vein, something that financially flopped but is culturally hugely successful, Firefly.
Hey, I knew you were gonna put that on.
Everybody who's seen Firefly loves it, but it made no money and it was cancelled before I'm pretty sure it was cancelled before it had even aired.
It got cancelled before the movie Serenity came out, did it? Or was
Yeah,
Serenity a few years?
so Firefly aired in what year was it? 2002, I think.
Hang on a second. It's
And
yeah, 2002.
yeah, so I came to it years later, but the original airing was out of order because Joss Whedon insisted on having movie length first episode. So that was aired out of order. It's also a slower paced episode because introducing everyone and setting up the world. So the executives decided to go in for the third episode as the first episode because it's an action episode.
uh,
So they did that a couple of times and messed up the order of the episodes. Then they changed the timing of it because it was on a time slot that happened to conflict with a sports game. And if the sports game ran late, that would affect the broadcast of Firefly. So they basically did everything they could to keep it down. Then, whether intentionally or not, I don't know if someone there had it out for Firefly or if they just misunderstood how good it was. Then it got cancelled. Fans loved it, and over the next couple of years, found an audience. DVD, probably VHS back then as well. And it wasn't until a few years later, I think Serenity came out in 2005,
yep,
but
2005.
the fan outcry over the show being cancelled was so bad that they decided we'll give them a movie to shut them up. And now we're getting it back, hopefully, with the animated series.
Yeah, it brought that series to a cult status. Yeah, that would agree. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you were saying earlier on about the corporations with Marvel and how they've done with the movies and all that stuff. In relation to gaming, with corporations controlling the gaming industry, do you reckon gaming is too important to be controlled by the giant corporations at this point?
Too late.
Too late?
No, I think there's a lot of giant corporations in gaming, but there's also a really low barrier to it. Sure, you're not going to make an Unreal 5 photorealistic game as an indie, at least not a big one. I mean, there's stuff like Bodycam, I think, but that's only a couple of levels.
Oh yeah,
So
body cam. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you can really focus in on the graphics like that, but you're not going to make much content.
yeah.
But there's a really low barrier of entry to a small team or even an individual making a game that fills a niche and blows up. And for that, I guess my example would be Stardew Valley or Minecraft. Those are both games that were started by individuals that took off in the indie space and became massive financial successes.
Yeah, yeah, that I can agree on. I mean, nowadays it's more about the investors and expectations, and I think the
Only if you
developer,
look at the AAA.
yeah, and I'm starting to wonder though, like, are investors becoming the victims of an industry built on blockbuster expectations?
I think it is definitely possible for a blockbuster industry to collapse under its own weight because, like I've said before, the bigger you are, the more income you keep going. So, a game that costs $1 billion to make needs to make billions of dollars in profit. Now, we're not up to that level yet, but the way things are going, probably will be soon. AAA games are costing hundreds of millions and taking a decade in development.
And costing a lot of money to buy as well.
Yeah. But if they're not a blockbuster hit, then I think it's possible that the studio that makes it could go under. Like, I'm just thinking about Rockstar and GTA 6, which is absolutely going to be a hit. I think the level of hype means that no matter how bad the game is, it will sell and make a profit.
Yeah.
But if it didn't make a profit, does Rockstar even have the financial backing to have a flop of that magnitude? I know they've made other games in the times since GTA 5. Well, a game, Red Dead 2.
Yep.
But yeah, can they afford to have a flop the size of GTA 6?
Oh, that if it flops, that would be, yeah, that it would be it would take another massive game to win the fans back.
If they could even make it.
Yeah.
Like, if GTA 6 flops, do they have enough money in the bank to make another Red Dead or Bully, some other game that would make enough money to fund GTA 7?
Yeah, that's a whole lot of promise as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, how you gonna tell that to to your shareholders as well? Like, hey, we trust us, shareholders. We got this great game coming up. I know GTA 6 is not a bad was a flop, but we've got this next best thing that's coming out. Trust us. Although that said, though, it makes me wonder which is going to be the bigger threat to gaming. Is it AI or is it going to be corporate expectations now?
I think I don't think either are a threat to gaming because we'll always have indie devs. Even if every post in the indie groups I'm in at the moment is, should I use AI to make my game? And then a flame war going on.
Really?
Yeah. It's enough that I've basically muted most of the indie dev channels that I'm in.
No. Wow. Even the Reddit, which is worse? Is it worse on Reddit or worse on Facebook?
Worse on Facebook. I don't really use Reddit anymore, and I mostly only use Facebook to deal with a few people who I can't convince to get over to another platform.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's
because my volunteer work requires me to use it,
fair.
I manage a Facebook page for my volunteer work, and unfortunately, you kind of got to be where people are at.
That's fair.
But
So
yeah, my point is that that AI it's a tool. It might not be a very good tool. People are going to use it one way or the other, and you can't stop them from using it.
yeah.
It just comes down to whether whether you buy a game that has an AI disclosure.
Oh, that's gonna be wild. Like, those ratings stuff you see on the gaming cover, like this game is rated M and whatnot. Can you imagine? And you get another box on the you get another box saying this game has AI on it, and this game doesn't have AI on it.
Yeah, there's I think it was Doug, a YouTuber, did a or was it no, it wasn't Doug. I can't find it when I Google it. Was it Markiplier then?
Hmm.
It was a YouTuber who came up with an AI scale. No, Markiplier AI. Okay, I don't know who it was, but there was a YouTuber I saw recently who had teamed up with some other people to come up with a scale to rate things based on the level of AI involvement. And
Okay.
what I'm thinking is, what I'm imagining is that becoming the default way to do a disclosure. So instead of just having a disclosure saying AI was used in this game, have a logo that says AI assistance was used, the majority of this was created by AI, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
That was the idea behind the scale I can't find now.
That's okay. We can put it on our show notes. Okay, speaking of future wise though, where do you see Xbox in 5 years from now? If with this sort of stuff that's going on with actually no, better question. Where do you see gaming in 5 years from now? Since Microsoft is going in this sort of direction, we're seeing Sony going in a totally different direction. I don't know what the fuck are they going on about. Even this morning with the PlayStation Network going down.
Yeah, Sony have never been great at uptime.
Uh-huh. And Nintendo, I don't know where the hell they're going. Like, where do you see Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo in 5 years from now, given what's happening right now?
I think those three will still be around, but on a smaller scale. They'll still be like, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not this generation, but this upcoming generation, but the generation after that, if consoles cease to be a thing. Because the rumors around Project Helix are that it's going to be more like a Steam machine running Windows. And that is something interesting because if you can't sell your console at a discount because basically selling a pre-built PC and you don't have exclusive games, then you're going to have to sell your hardware closer to cost. And that is going to be a big obstacle for getting your hardware in people's homes. Why would I buy, like, it's like a problem with the HD DVD and Blu-ray back in the day.
Yeah.
Why would I
Yep.
spend an extra couple of $100 buying a Blu-ray player when I can buy a PlayStation free, have the Blu-ray player in the PlayStation, and play games as well as watch movies? So why would I buy a Project Helix
Steam machine.
or a Steam machine or a Sony whatever if it cost me the same to build my own PC? So I think the more technically literate among us will be building their own PCs, which will play all the Xbox games and all the Sony games, because exclusives seem to be less common these days. Although
Yeah.
having said that, I do just remember now Xbox are promising more exclusives and Sony are promising more exclusives. So we'll see how that goes. They might be trying to turn this around. We'll see what happens.
Also, the one other thing I also have to mention though, are we gonna see a little less acquisitions from all three companies as well? You reckon? Given this sort of debacles that's going on with the big three.
No, because the acquisitions are how they get new IPs, the exclusives.
Yeah. But some acquisitions can be very painful, like the Blizzard, like the Microsoft
Yeah.
acquiring Activision Blizzard. That feels like a costly mistake at this the junction now.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the problem with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard was because of antitrust and monopoly laws,
Hmm,
which I can't see being enforced in the US in the next 3 years.
yeah, and then you had Sony and Bungie as well. But yeah, man,
Yeah, so I think they'll keep buying up in devs to get, well, double A devs to get exclusives.
fair enough. Fair enough. Anyways, we spoke a lot about this topic.
We
We should
have.
go. We should
Speed it
go
up,
to our
DJ.
yeah.
Light a fire under you.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. So, on to our next topic. NASA is seeking volunteers for the new year-long simulated Moon and Mars mission. As I said, as self-explanatory, they're looking for volunteers to take part in a 12-month simulated Moon and Mars mission designed to test what life is going to be like for future astronauts living away from Earth. And the mission is called Moon and Mars Exploration and Analog, or nicely acronymed MMEA, which will begin no earlier than August 2027 at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Now, In relation to that, one of the biggest challenges to traveling to Mars is that humans are not built for long duration space travel. Scientists are exploring whether artificial hibernation is also called synthetic torpor can allow astronauts to enter deep sleep like state during the journey. The idea came from animals such as bears, bats, and other hibernating species that can survive months with lower metabolism, reduced oxygen consumption, less food intake, protection from harsh conditions. Scientists hope to recreate a similar state in humans. So the
I could use a good nap, son. Yeah.
So, although there are a couple of problems to this to this equation, there is the radiation, such as cosmic radiation, including the risks of cancer and other health problems, muscle and bone loss, food supplies, and mental health. Yeah, how do you think that's going to work with if the first humans on Mars don't travel there awake? What if the space future of space exploration is basically putting astronauts in a sci-fi sleeping pod?
Well, who's going to care for the astronauts? Because even though we can put people into comas at the moment, they still develop issues in comas.
Oh yeah.
So you still need a team to care for them. Who's going to care for the astronauts while they're traveling Mars? And if you can do that, why not just keep them awake and avoid coma side effects like muscle atrophy?
Yeah, it's also yeah, that's you're right about that one because if you imagine you wake up in the middle of your hypersleep, oh crap, I need to poop. How do I get out? I need to get out of this to poop.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the opening scene of Project Hail Mary, which is basically this concept. They somehow find a way to put people into hibernation and have them hooked up to a computer that monitors their vitals and provides them and all that. And the opening of the story is the main character waking up from his hibernation with no memory of where he is or how he got there. And the discovery that removing a catheter without deflating it hurts.
Oh, that's gonna be painful.
Yeah, so somehow they kept his muscles and bones from atrophying from not being used because he was asleep for a couple of years in the story. But you still need some way to deal with the side effects when they wake up, and I doubt there's a way to really hibernate people without side effects. All the other things like food and radiation are kind of just stuff you have to deal with going to space anyway. So if you build a ship that is radiation shielded, it's going to be suitable whether the astronaut is awake or asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, but then would you want to volunteer? Would you want to volunteer in this though? Like, even if it means becoming one of the first people to help humanity reach another planet?
I think first we have to find people to volunteer to be asleep for a year and then wake them up and hope that nothing's gone wrong.
Yeah,
No, they'd probably do experiments on people in comas
yeah.
because it's a pretty big request to ask someone to give up a year of their life to sleep issues when they wake up.
Right.
But that's the sort of thing where it's often said that research for space travel comes back to civilian life. If they could find a way to prevent muscle atrophy while hibernating, I'm sure that would work for a coma as well. So if you have someone who's in a coma for a year because they had a car accident, then the same treatment would probably work on them as for your astronauts.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for humans to reach Mars? You reckon? I know you said earlier, like it's the besides the someone to care for them and the radiation's not really that well. You're gonna experience radiation to and fro. So what other biggest challenge? What other challenges you reckon that's stopping humans?
I think that's kind of the main ones. So I think we've covered most of them. The key issues, I think, are radiation, muscle atrophy in space, and supplies.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. I'm also more worried about why should we spend money on Mars when we have problems on Earth? Like, why are we doing this whole thing again when we have problems on Earth? Can't we spend? Can't we use this to spend to deal with these problems?
Well, like I said, a lot of the research that goes into space travel
Hmm.
benefits civilians as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. what are the practical benefits though? Like we've already seen previous space missions. We've already seen people experiencing space missions. Like, what practical benefits do those previous space missions give to everyday people?
Well, a few recent examples are that production of certain medications might be easier in zero G.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
There's also nothing's coming to mind right now, but Wi-Fi. There was a lot of research into wireless transmit of data, and Wi-Fi is actually partially based on research done to detect black holes.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, there's it's often not immediately obvious what civilian benefits there will be, but there is almost always a civilian benefit to whatever the astronauts and related scientists figure out.
Yeah. My other interesting thing would be when it comes to humans hibernating would be how would they what type of personality would you have to be to survive through the hibernation process? Cuz some people cannot would not like that.
Yeah, someone who you'd have to be mentally screwed, of course, but I think you could probably get away with just someone who likes having a good nap.
Yeah.
No, it's like I don't see why having a nap for a year would be that much more difficult than traveling millions of kilometers away from home.
I don't know,
In
like
fact, it might even be better
I don't
because
know. Oh,
you get to
sorry.
the Mars and you can come out of your hibernation and not spend years tiny tin can with six other people.
Yeah, but then how do you think the astronauts are gonna deal with the loneliness and the conflict? Like, can you imagine you with six other people, and imagine you are the only one that hates the whole lot?
Well, I would expect the other five or six people to put me out the airlock.
It'd be like a game of Among Us, just like he's the imposter. We must eject him with to the airlock. Yeah, but like like I reckon the psychological challenge is going to be harder than the engineering challenge.
Okay.
And can you imagine, like, as well, like what happens if like how much independence should astronauts have on from mission control? Like, are they gonna have a lot of independence, or are they gonna be like, okay, you can't really go outside and frolic in the Martian environment?
You probably don't want to do that anyway.
Yeah,
Martian dust is likely toxic. But yeah, astronauts have a pretty regimented schedule.
yeah, yeah. I can I could see that. Yeah, yeah. Although, okay, but then since how we're going into the AI kind of routine, could you imagine an AI managing a Mars colony? Like, imagine robots building the first human settlements.
Yeah, that'll make complete sense. Send
Although,
the robots first to the settlement so that they'll be safe.
it would be like it'd be like Space Odyssey though. Hal,
Only if you give
introduce.
your robot direction.
Uh-huh. It would render the astronauts the human astronauts obsolete, which would be crazy.
Yeah, we kind of already do that though.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, would you rather be the first human on Mars or the first AI on Mars?
If you uploaded my brain to a computer, would I still be?
Oh, okay, okay. If you have I think if you still have your consciousness and your personality and stuff, I think you still be human.
So then I would still be the first human on Mars if I was an AI.
Yeah. Well, human. I would say human adjacent, without the body, but yeah, if you still have the personality, yeah, maybe, yeah, yeah. Although, yeah, okay, yeah. Although, yeah, I'm thinking about immortality. Like, if you could you could render yourself immortal. I gotta think more. Anyways, on to our final topic. You were mentioning about Star Wars and how big it is. And George Lucas has some interesting words to say about it. So George Lucas has basically said that AI is a tool that will democratize filmmaking, making expensive filmmaking processes faster and cheaper. He compares AI to previous technological revolutions he helped introduce, such as digital cameras replacing film, CGI replacing physical practical limitations, digital editing replacing physical cutting, virtual productions replacing traditional sets. With Lucas arguing that every generation fears new technology, but eventually it becomes normal. And his main argument is that AI will not replace filmmakers. It will replace more people to be. It will allow more people to become filmmakers.
Where are they getting the money to pay for the AI tools, George?
You have been, you professor, have been going out of your way to say something about this. Ever since I posted this, you were like, "You are a hacker." You were going
Because
crazy
he
about.
is. All the best things about Star Wars
Yep.
come from other people.
So, according to George, he's saying a single creator may eventually be able to make a movie with fewer resources. Small teams can produce Hollywood quality visuals, and technology removes barriers between imagination and execution. And his way of and his controversial point about this, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't tell me there's nothing I can do about it. Because that means I will do something about it.
Oh man.
So you've just made yourself an enemy, George.
Yeah, so it's funny how he's basically saying AI is the new CGI revolution.
Yeah, and we saw how that went for Lucas, didn't we?
But okay, okay. You reckon what with all the stuff that he's done? Okay, can you really fault him though? Like, can you really fault him with with the advances that he's pulled off?
Can I fault a hack for using a tool that hacks use?
Damn. Okay, okay. That said, though, like with what George has said, do you reckon? Do you reckon AI has removed barriers for independent filmmakers, or does it make it harder for human creators to stand out?
Well, that's the problem with this AI stuff. It's so cheap to pump out AI stuff for people who can already afford it. I'm not saying it's cheap to do to use an AI to generate stuff because at the moment the companies that make the tech subsidizing it. But there's going to be so much of it, it's going to be impossible to stand out.
And with George saying saying how AI is going to improve imagination over improve the imagination.
Yeah, no. We
No.
already know that using LLMs is bad for your brain.
Yep. Yep.
So why would it give you more imagination?
You and I had a discussion about this a while back when Neil Blomkamp released his movie, and I was saying about how the if you have multiple people, it will pollute the vision of the creative and executives and stuff. And you were saying something about how the executive can do away with the AI or the creative and use the AI.
Yeah. Why would you keep the creative around if you can just say AI make me a movie?
Yeah, but then the problem with the executive is that he doesn't have he doesn't know how to be creative, and it's the creative that knows how to use the AI to be creative. That's what I was trying to head at. I was trying to get into.
And why, if the AI is so easy to use, can't the exec learn how to use it?
I would say basically it's the if the AI is patient, if the executive is patient enough to sit there and and learn how to use it, but then I don't have the mind of an executive, so
Well, if the AI is as easy to use and as incredible as the advertising says it is,
yeah.
then the executive, because it wouldn't be that difficult for to use it if
Yeah,
it
but
was as
then
easy as they say it is.
true, but then as you said as well, with if you use an LLM, you would get you would get millions of answers if you ask the same question. Like even if even if the executive uses the same prompt, it will not get the right result as it will not get the right result. Like, you know what I mean? I think you got
Yeah,
lost.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm getting a bit lost.
yeah. Anyways, what I was trying to say is like he was. If even if it's easy, it's very difficult for him to get the result. Like you have to try and find the right words or find the right vocabulary or the right prompts and stuff, and it's not going to be easy. But that's okay. Aside from that, aside from that discussion, are we entering a future where imagination becomes more important than technical skills? Given what George is saying.
No, I don't think we're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah. What's also interesting, this is George Lucas saying it, and you with what George Lucas saying, you reckon George Lucas is being consistent with his career considering he was a technological disruptor?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say this though, like with what George is saying, how AI is going to be the future and it's going and everyone has to deal with it. Will AI make Hollywood more diverse or will big companies still dominate will still dominate?
I think the big companies are still going to dominate because when the cost goes up for these LLMs and generative AIs,
Yeah.
then only the big companies are going to be able to afford to use them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, with how AIs are going into subscription plans, yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Yep, yep, fair enough. Anyways, we'll be back after a short break and be back with our with our shout outs and wacky movie. On the 16th of July 2026, Sam Neill has passed away. He was best known for films such as My Brilliant Career, Jurassic Park, The Piano, The Dish, and a couple of horror movies such as The Omen 3. Yeah, The Omen 3 and In the Mouth of Madness. He passed away at the age of 78. Was surrounded by family, and he remained cancer free. Tributes flowed for Neil, remembering him as a great of the film and TV industries. He was also famous for Jurassic Park. God, love that movie. He was one of the hosts of actors and directors who achieved international fame after an explosion of Australian films that began in late 1970s. A list that includes Paul Hogan, Mel Gibson, Jeffrey Rush, Russell Crowe, Jane Campion, Peter Weir, and Julian Armstrong. He was appointed officer of the Order of the British Empire in 1991 for his work as an actor. He was knighted in 2022, becoming Sir Sam Neill. His range as an actor was remarkable, playing opposite Helena Bonham Carter in Alan Akbar's comedy Sweet Revenge, to chopping off Holly Hunter's finger in The Piano, to poking out his own eyes in the sci-fi horror Event Horizon. Oh yeah, that movie too.
Yeah, he was in a lot.
Yeah, yeah. He was one of the original candidates to play for the fourth and fifth act to play for James Bond in The Living Daylights and GoldenEye. Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan ended up playing as James Bond, and he was also considered for the Eighth Doctor in Doctor Who the movie. That would have been great.
Yeah, they considered a lot of people for that role.
Yeah.
The list got leaked years ago. You should look it up sometime.
Yeah, that would have been fun to watch. So, Professor, what's our messed up moment in nerddom this time?
A messed up moment is the Scots Wikipedia.
Wait, as in Scotland Scots, or?
Yeah, a Wikipedia site which had, I've lost my place on the page, Wikipedia site which had 50,000 articles. Until in 2020, it was realized that one person had created 23,000 of those articles. And that one person did not speak Scots.
Oh, tell me, who was it? Tell me, but I want to know now.
I don't think the person's name has been released.
No.
But they basically wrote out a third of the Scots Wikipedia in English with a fake Scottish accent.
No.
And it's at the point that they deleted most of his articles, bringing it down to about 40,000 articles. And scholars believe that it did actual damage to the Scots language because so many people use Wikipedia as a resource.
Imagine you were one of the high school students that had to do an assignment about Scots. Oh, that'd be terrifyingly hilarious. I'm looking up like who perpetrated that entire thing. Apparently, it was a teenager in America, 19 years old.
Yep.
That is hilarious. Now I look at God's Wikipedia page, like besides the perpetrator and the what did the articles actually say about it?
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the actual articles. Just that
Fuck, 20,
they how you would imagine a Scottish person would speak.
fuck. Can you imagine? Like, oh man, how long did it take for Wikipedia to go like, hey, wait a minute, this guy's just faking it.
It was years.
It goes to show like the credibility of Wikipedia, and that would explain why
Well,
university.
Wikipedia is still incredibly credible as a starting.
Yeah. I think this must be one of the reasons why schools and other people have said like don't use Wikipedia as a source.
They were saying
Entire
that
source.
years before that.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah, this didn't happen until 2020. People have been saying not to use Wikipedia since it came out.
Damn. Okay, now I'm seeing apparently it's a 12-year-old furry that did this whole damage. Someone's saying it's 19, someone's saying it's 12-year-old, so I'm not sure who's the guilty party here.
Yeah, probably a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Oh man, messed up. The Wikipedia allowed this.
They didn't allow it. They just didn't catch it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Anyways, on to our wacky movie on the 16th of July, 2001. Jurassic Park 3 premiered in the United States. This was directed by Joe Johnson from a story by Michael Crichton, Peter Buckman, Alexander Payne, and Jim Taylor. The film starred Sam Neill, William H. Macy, Tia Leone, and others. And here is the plot summary. Dr. Alan Grant is now a happy man with the previous incidents of Jurassic Park now behind him. Grant is that happy that he that nothing on Earth can persuade him back onto the islands. Maybe nothing, except poor Kirby. Kirby and his wife Amanda to fly them to Isla Sorna, while Dr. Grant as their guide. But nothing Kirby says there is true. When the plane lands, Dr. Grant realizes that there is another reason while they are there, as he doesn't know as of now. Dr. Grant is stuck on an island he has never been on before, with what a plane journey now turns into a search party. And I think if I recall correctly, you said this was one of the worst Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah.
You saw this,
And
movie,
who wrote
right?
that summary there? Sounds like
I
it was
have-
written and then translated multiple times.
I have no idea. Don't shoot the messenger here. That's all we have for this week. So check out our social media, our episodes on Spotify and our Twitch. Look after yourselves. Stay hydrated. Stay happy. Stay nerdy. See you guys.
See you next week.